The spiritual meaning of numbers from 1 to 9, how they create personal growth and guide the law of attraction. Imagine this. We're sitting together in a calm, peaceful space with a warm cup of tea in hand, and we're about to dive into a conversation about these numbers. Nothing too complicated, just simple truths I want to share with you from my personal experience and everything I've learned along the way. When I talk about number 1, independence and leadership, I'm not just referring to famous leaders like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. These numbers aren't just for billionaires. In fact, I once worked with a friend in the finance industry, a self-made entrepreneur who started with nothing. What I learned from him was the power of decisiveness and the ability to create opportunities for yourself. He would always say, "If you don't decide, the world will decide for you." That really made me reflect on how I was living and acting. A study from Harvard University once pointed out that people who tend to be decisive and have leadership qualities are often able to spot opportunities where others only see risks. They have a different perspective on the world around them, and they're not afraid of challenges. I want you to ask yourself, are you living a life that you're in control of? If not, maybe it's time to step out of your comfort zone and try something new, just like number 1 teaches us. Number 2 is all about harmony and love. You might think, I'm not a particularly sentimental person. How can this affect my success? But listen to me. Harmony isn't just about romantic love. It's about creating connections and respect in all your relationships. One of the things I've learned working in finance is the power of connection. When you know how to listen to others, you not only learn a lot, but also attract opportunities you never even imagined. There's a famous study by Dale Carnegie in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, that shows how genuinely caring for others is the key to building lasting relationships. Have you ever thought that you could attract opportunities just by creating sincere connections? This doesn't just help you in your career, it also helps you build a life full of love and harmony. When it comes to number 3, I think of creativity and self-expression. Creativity doesn't always have to be something huge. A friend of mine who works in design started his career by creating hand-drawn art. At first, he just did it to satisfy his passion, but eventually, his works were loved by the community. He turned that passion into a stable source of income. You know, every time you express yourself creatively, whether in your work or in your personal life, you're not only building your own value, but also opening doors to opportunities you didn't even know existed. A study by Psychology Today also showed that when we express ourselves creatively, our brains produce dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel happy and satisfied. This isn't just good for your mental health, but it also drives you towards successes you may never have thought possible. Ask yourself, how have you expressed your creativity today? With number 4, I want to share a story about a friend of mine, a successful investor. He always says, stability isn't about passivity. It's about understanding yourself and being able to hold your ground in any situation. This number reminds us that mental and emotional stability is the foundation for building something sustainable. According to a study from the National Institute of Mental Health, people who can self-reflect and regulate their emotions tend to be more successful in both their careers and their personal lives. Having a stable foundation allows us to face challenges more easily and, in turn, create prosperity in all areas. Have you ever asked yourself if you're maintaining stability in your mind and life? Now, let's continue our conversation and move on to number 5, which represents freedom and adventure. This is one of the most fascinating numbers, in my opinion. I once took a course on change and adaptability, and what I learned was that it's the willingness to take risks and try new things that truly determines success. Those who dare to change and explore never stop at what they have. They always find ways to grow and expand opportunities for themselves. A study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that people who accept risks are more likely to achieve greater success in life. They see opportunities everywhere, while others only see risks. Are you actively seizing opportunities, or are you waiting for things to come to you? Moving on to number 6. I always think of people who devote their lives to helping others. A friend of mine in the education sector once told me, "Giving isn't just about material things. It's about sharing your time and knowledge." And this is absolutely true. A study from the Greater Good Science Center showed that when you help others, your brain releases a chemical called oxytocin, which makes you feel happy and fulfilled. And this is one of the simplest ways to attract abundance into your life. When you start giving, you'll receive not only from those around you, but also from the universe itself. And that's a part of the law of attraction. The balance between giving and receiving will bring you what you truly deserve. So, what do you think about these numbers? Each one carries a lesson and its own unique energy. The important thing is to recognize them, understand how to use them in your life, and from there, open up opportunities to attract prosperity and success. The law of attraction will always be with you, as long as you're ready to listen and take action. Let's continue with number 7, the number of spiritual and intellectual growth. When I think of this number, I remember a friend of mine who's a philosopher and spiritual researcher. He never just settled for what he knew. Every time he faced a challenge, he didn't look for answers outside himself, but always turned inward, seeking understanding from within. He once said, "Only when we understand the essence of ourselves can we recognize and tap into the infinite energy of the universe." Number 7 is all about this journey. A journey not only of theory, but also of deep practice. A study from University of California showed that people involved in spiritual pursuits tend to have higher levels of happiness and success because they know how to balance their minds and handle stress in life. They don't just live rationally, but also know how to connect with the essence of the universe, creating harmony between their inner self and the world around them. And you, have you ever asked yourself, how have you truly connected with yourself and the world around you? Are you ready to stop and listen to the call within you to find your direction in life? Number 8 brings powerful energy of perseverance, power, and success. This is the number of those who never stop trying and never give up, even when facing difficulties. I remember a story from a friend of mine, a successful investor, who once shared, "The road to success is not always smooth. Sometimes you have to accept failure, learn from it, and keep going." His story really made me feel the power of number 8. It's not just about power, but also about the ability to rise after every fall. A study from the American Psychological Association found that people who are persistent and have inner strength are better able to face stress and overcome challenges. They understand that success doesn't come from taking easy steps, but from constant effort and the ability to stand strong in the face of adversity. Do you feel ready to rise and keep pushing toward your goals? If not, maybe it's time to reconnect with the power of number 8 and awaken the strong energy inside you. Finally, number 9 is the number of completion, endings, and compassion. This is the number of those who understand that life isn't just about what we achieve, but also about what we can contribute to the world. I remember a friend of mine in the healthcare field, a doctor who always makes time to help the less fortunate in her community. She always says, "True wealth isn't about having a lot of money. It's about knowing how to share with others." And she's absolutely right. Number 9 serves as a reminder to live for something greater than ourselves. A study from the Greater Good Science Center at the University of California shows that people who live for others and possess compassion tend to have higher levels of happiness. They feel that their life has meaning, and this brings a positive energy that nothing else can replace. They know that when you give unconditionally, you not only change the lives of others, but also create massive shifts in your own life. So, are you ready? Law of Attraction is always here to support you on this journey. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to listen to your numbers, learn, and evolve from the lessons life has to offer. Each number isn't just a symbol. It's a door that opens countless opportunities. Let these numbers guide you toward prosperity, not just financially, but in growth, love, and happiness in life. Before we wrap up, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. Are you ready to turn these numbers into your strength in life? Every step along this journey isn't just about what you achieve, but also about what you can share and spread to the world. So, if you found today's message helpful, don't hesitate to like, share, and comment below this video. Let's create a community where we don't just learn from each other, but also inspire each other. If you have any stories, emotions, or questions about your own journey, feel free to leave your thoughts below. I'd love to hear from you and share more with you. Remember, the road to success is never easy, but law of attraction will always be there to guide you when you're open and ready to act. We can walk this path together, one step at a time, until each of us reaches prosperity, happiness, and peace in our lives. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Share it with your friends. And don't forget to hit like if you found what I shared today meaningful. I wish you an amazing day and never give up on your dreams. We'll meet again in the next video.